Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shred and Soul.
I'm Shred, aka Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, aka Wind Tears. Well, we're recording this shortly after Thanksgiving and hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you were with your family or even by yourself, one of my favorite Thanksgivings was actually a day that I was alone in Taos, New Mexico. Didn't have anyone around. And I had a beautiful day listening to Hopi Prophecy on those days of tape and walking towards Taos Mountain, having an amazing feeling of gratitude for my life and the mountain in front of me and the profound teachings that I was listening to. It was just a real poignant moment. And I was very grateful, even though I was by myself. So that's one of the things we want to look at today. Well, the main thing we want to look at today as coming out of a tradition of Thanksgiving, which is a time to give thanks, which is basically gratitude, being grateful for what's in our lives. Kevin and I have been talking about what we're grateful for and how that lives in us and in our lives.
I I hesitate to go through the list of things that we're commonly grateful about. You know, it would almost seem cliche at some point because everybody can relate, especially if you're part of the culture that celebrates Thanksgiving. You've got it memorized. But there's a subtle quality to gratefulness that I think that we'd like to touch on. Not to say that we aren't grateful for our families, and even if we couldn't be close to some of our families, we're still grateful for them. And we're grateful for our abundance of food and our warmth, our our shared experiences.
I'm grateful for these days for being alive.
Yeah.
You know, as we get older, that the end of the line gets closer and closer, and I'm very much aware of that. And I'm grateful every day I wake up, and I'm grateful that my eyes still work. Most seriously, I'm grateful that my ears still hear, even though not as good as they once did. I'm grateful. All those cliche things to me are really important these days. I'm so grateful in a world where so many are doing without that we have food and a lot of organic food and good food and a warm place with a wonderful fireplace. And we have so much just.
We have gas in the car.
I have gas in the car. My lungs work. I can breathe. Being asthmatic, that really means a lot. I can breathe. Those things are cliche, but to me, I know as I get older, they really mean a lot.
Well, I think that you've gone beyond cliche there.
I
Because
have.
you've quite eloquently spelled out a lot of really cool things that maybe, people don't think about. I mean, I'm talking about, your average response, which, I'm guilty of it too. Maybe you're not into thinking that way, but gratitude is more of an experience than a thought process. It's one of those key experiences where you have to be in the moment to fully experience gratitude. For me, it happened um, poignantly in the shower one day. I all of a sudden felt a wave of gratitude, thinking, I'm in the shower, I'm able to clean myself in this wonderful warm water, and right now I'm thankful for that. And feeling it from your heart outwards, I think is what how I would describe the feeling, and being able to just experience it right then and there. And I think once you've done that, you've experienced it, it's easier to cultivate that and bring that back.
Well, I think that's an important description of what gratitude is and how we experience it. And, I'm sure so many of you go to Thanksgiving dinner, which is a holy day of gratitude. Most traditions have a day of gratitude. And maybe there are family members, and one person says, let's all say what we're grateful for. And the other family member says, oh, not that. And we've lost the meaning. What does it mean to be grateful? And yeah, those moments being in the shower, it's a feeling. And saying it brings us to the present. I think that's really a huge part of it, is that having gratitude means in this moment, I am seeing and I am feeling my experience. I am feeling warmth.
It's an experience.
Warmth. I am feeling a full belly. Full belly. I am feeling Kevin with me. Just wonderful. Those moments of feeling it is what gratitude is. And you're not in the future.
Or if you've just gotten off the phone with your mom or your son or your daughter or
best friend,
or you run into somebody on the street, and yeah, it resonates.
Yeah. And even, the little things. I bought some really cool glitter pens. And the other day I was doing some work and I thought, I'll use my glitter pen. And I was grateful in the moment that this tedious task I was doing was suddenly fun and sparkly and cool because I was using my glitter pen, and I was laughing, feeling very childlike, that having this glitter pen and seeing the sparkle was so exciting to me at my age. And I think that's part of gratitude, is a childlike sense
of
being
appreciation.
being like when a kid gets an ice cream cone or candy or that toy, in that moment there's glee.
I mean, even something like a football game, if you're watching it, for me, I had an experience where I saw the most amazing playoff game. It was like the Browns and so, it was years ago. And I went to bed and I just was so filled with joy of having been able to experience that. And I mean, it could be anything that you all of a sudden just feel an upwelling of appreciation.
Something like, and that, it's an example of gratitude. I really feel is about simplicity. And often, we look or we try and suss out what we might be grateful for. And it's the big things which matter. But often it's my new color or my new this. And we often miss the blade of grass in front of us, which is miraculous, or the flower we just passed, which is a miracle. We have these miracles of light, sound, color, texture, sensuality, so many things. The feel of my skin and my fingers right now is really like velvet. So many experiences that are what we would call small, that we miss, often because we're looking into the future, what we're going to have, get, buy, do. When this happens, we will this. Or, I'm going to be grateful when so-and-so shows up, but I miss the fact that I'm with these other people and just had this moment that I didn't even register because I was imagining, waiting for this friend or that family member. There's often things that take us into the future, right? And we're not in the moment experiencing what's right here in front of us.
And I think also there's a tendency to want to repeat a peak experience. And trying to make it happen, which is noble in itself, of course, but the real experience is something that is almost spontaneous, for me anyway. I would imagine other people with higher degrees of practice and awareness could summon that more frequently, or maybe they live with that all the time. I don't know.
Like in this moment, we're going to toast you because we're very grateful for you and for this moment. So we're doing our holiday cheer for Thanksgiving and for other things coming up. And I'm looking at the bubbles. You'd have to zoom in. These are old vintage glasses that have hollow stems. And Kevin and I are like two kids with these because you see the bubbles rising, like bubbles in a fish tank from a filter. They are so beautiful to look at. And I don't want to miss that moment. And I'm very grateful that Kevin found these glasses on a walk and brought them home. And they're hard to find. And they're beautiful. Even though the glass is just plain glass, the sensual bubbles and the visual fun bubbles rising like they do is really, really cool thing. So here's to simplicity in you. Here's
And
to
to
you.
kicking off the holiday season. So, and let's kick it off with a feeling of gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that, I listen to a lot of students and clients talk about the holidays, and there's a difference in what I hear from younger people to older people. And a frequent one is something like the young person saying, "Oh God, I gotta go hang out with my family. It's gonna be so boring. My uncle's there, my aunt, and this," and it's this attitude about it.
The same
They're
old
dreading
crowd.
it, and then the parent is over here thinking something very different and feeling something. They may be feeling, all my children and grandchildren will be in the room at the same time. This may never happen again.
Yeah, because it might not.
No, or maybe it happens rarely for a lot of people in this country, people all over. And it made me think, as this last week or so, I listened to young people and older people talk about preparation for the holiday, how what I'm grateful for now is in some ways different than when I was younger. What was I grateful for when I was younger? Besides, nature, I really appreciated nature and life in a pretty profound way for such a young kid. But I also was focused on the friends. My friend did this, I'm grateful. There's a sense of appreciation in the now for things that were much more about me, getting attention or getting a good grade, or there is a whole different way of being in the world from a young person's view and perspective.
That's so true. Thinking back of when I was young, I see myself as just clamoring and pulling myself out of the womb, I guess. And that womb was not just where I biologically came from, but where I was coming out of. And those times for me were more self-centered and more full of wanting and not too much gratitude. And I think that might be true across the board. Now you mention it, thinking about my experience in that regard. Not that I was a jackass or anything, but like a lot of people, I was more focused on clawing my way up and making something and doing things. I think that's part of that stage of life. So yeah, it is kind of hard to expect that from a younger person. It's not that they don't care about you or love you. They might just feel overwhelmed with what they're paying attention to at the time.
Yeah, and children are grateful for things and experiences and joy, like that ice cream and that first taste. They're very sensual. Young people are very tuned to their senses. But as we get older, our sense of gratitude and our perspective changes, and it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Well, I just couldn't help but smile inside. And when I'd say to the young people, well, your family doesn't get together that often, and I wonder how grandma feels or your mom, they might say, well, yeah, but. So holidays, special things are different for different people.
Yeah.
And for some people, gratitude might be sitting alone in quiet.
I realize now that I don't think I've ever spent a Thanksgiving alone. I've fantasized it. And I should probably feel gratitude. And I do feel gratitude. I'm blessed that I'm always surrounded by people who love me.
Yeah.
And, loved ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we're grateful for Shanti, our cat. Right? But the perception of gratitude, it's a fullness. There's definitely in gratitude an awareness of the present, an awareness of feeling. We have to tune in to feel gratitude. A lot of more aggressive feelings or anger and stuff, the energy is going out. Yearning, wanting, anger, frustration. It's all, yeah.
Gratitude is one of those feelings that bolsters you.
Yeah. It fills us up.
Yeah, it fills you up.
Yeah. And I think it's because we're, there's we're tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
We're tuning into a place that's still,
Mm-hmm.
or at least more still than the noise of our heads and what's going on in the world. We're checking in with ourselves. And in this moment, so I take a sip of champagne. Yeah. If I'm fully present with this sip of champagne, sip of champagne, I can feel it already. As it's rolling down my tongue, full presence, it lights up different taste buds in different parts of my tongue. Mm-hmm. And when we're fully present, like, oh, taste, mm-hmm. Sensation.
Yeah.
Absolute sensuality of sensation.
Ingesting food is one of those things that champagne is food.
In our house.
In more ways than others, but experiencing the flavor and the sensation of nourishing yourself and then focusing only on that. Sometimes I think about that when I'm eating, and it's like, a lot of times we sit down to eat and we start talking because it's the only time we see each other, right? But at the same time, we're missing out on the aspect of being grateful and enjoying the nourishment that we're given. And acknowledging this is one of the core things to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the acknowledgement of it. Mm-hmm. How many times someone in life feels alone or empty, and yet they just had an amazing conversation with someone online in the store, or they just had a shared moment of connection with someone, but they're not in the moment appreciating it, so it doesn't land. Mm-hmm. It doesn't land. I've been talking to different people a lot about our inner experiences, like an account, and the negative stuff is a withdrawal and the positive stuff is a deposit. And we register the withdrawals so much more often than the deposits, so that becomes what's emphasized, and it takes out more of us than these amazing things we experience moment by moment. Mm-hmm. So if you stop and feel that roll down your tongue, or you have a moment with someone out and about, that's a moment of fullness, right? A connection.
Right.
We have people we see and we meet and we feel good about them, and we don't really know them very well, but we have great exchanges with them. That fills us up. But because we're lonely, or because we're wanting something else in our life, we don't register these. Yeah. So part of gratitude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is about being present enough in the moment to register the fullness and what's here.
Yes. Slowing down.
Yeah. And
getting out of your head. And because gratitude isn't something you think, you experience it. And there are other things that are similar. Mm-hmm. But that's one of the key ingredients. I think a lot of theologies key on that.
Well, let's jump there.
Yeah.
We wrote down a couple of notes that we wanted to say of different traditions, because they all talk about this.
Yeah.
It's a universal. Do you want to start?
One of my favorite theologies, or is the teaching of the Zohar. And the Zohar is a part of the Kabbalah. And I read some books by Rabbi Berg that just were fascinating. And this is what we glean from the internet on the Zohar. According to the Zohar, gratitude is a foundational principle that acts as a gateway to higher spiritual realms. I can put that together with the experience, because the experience of the higher realm is not of this world so much. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's like stepping out, like going to the blue tent and getting checked out. So, gateway to higher spiritual realms, as expressed through acknowledging divine gifts in all circumstances, both good and bad. Now that could be a bone of contention, good and bad. But here's my philosophy on that, or my theory on that. Okay, we're talking about our lives, right? We're young, we're climbing, we're not thinking about being grateful that much, but we are. We get older and we slow down. We go, I'm certainly grateful for all of this, whatever I have in front of me that's good and feels good and is appreciated, my sight, my mobility, my ability to clean myself, to be housed, to be able to transport myself wherever I want. Slow down, acknowledge that. But I think the next step is to say, what about those adversarial times? What about those times that were really rough, that you struggled with? At some point, according to the Zohar, you acknowledge those and you're grateful for those because those are transcending, experiences. It's like what Rumi said, for every wound, there's an opening for light. And that teaching, I have yet to fully experience it, but I can see it coming down the pipe.
Another tradition is the Hopi teachings, and most Native American teachings have this aspect of gratitude for what we have and living in harmony with our Earth Mother. And some of that's just respect and reverence, but an appreciation and gratitude for this circle. We breathe in, we breathe out, we eat food, we give back. It's a circle. It's not just one way, not what I can get or take in. In a lot of Native American and all traditions, spiritual traditions, there's a sense, but very much in the Hopi traditions, that you live in harmony with Earth. You live in harmony with each other. It's not only what I'm getting, it's what I'm giving. And there's this gratitude of energy moving and appreciation for what we receive, as well as the opportunity to give. And Hindu,
full circle.
it's
gratitude.
a full circle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, it's in the present. It's a moving, living experience, not just a thought. And in Hindu traditions, there's a lot of offering. So you give offerings. You go to the altar, you leave an offering. And Buddhist traditions do that too. But there's just a lot of offering to an experience, offering to a deity, offering to, and basically it's a gratitude. It's a respect. There's a reverence. And in that gratitude for this experience, like you were describing, there's an appreciation, and offerings are signs of gratitude. And a lot of Native American traditions, when you eat a meal, you put a plate out in the garden or out by an house or altar somewhere for the spirit realm, for the spirits. And it's a gratitude, a sense of, thank you for this food. And so every meal, no matter what you're eating, there's the plate that goes to the spot, special spot. That's an offering to the spirits and giving gratitude and giving thanks. Nice. That's an awesome tradition. I really loved seeing that.
Yeah, it's like pouring a little beer out on your buddy's grave,
Is that gratitude?
Same kind of thing.
I kind of get the connection.
Maybe we edit that.
So yeah, a lot of, offering is a really important part of most traditions.
Yeah. Offering.
Offering.
It's so interesting to think of offering in Christian traditions. If you've gone to church, they'll pass around the plate or the basket for you to donate money. And so much of that is, I think, in the same concept. It's, being grateful. And I'm not like, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about Christianity, but it's a cool idea that you're grateful for the presence of a bigger thing, a bigger being, a guiding force that is going to not only help you, but reward you for giving. And that reward, if you want to take a literal kind of concept, would be to end up in heaven. But I think for me, it's more like a feeling of heaven where you experience a joy, real joy, and this experience for giving. And you're giving, you feel grateful for the ability to give.
That reminds me of a quote by Salvador Dali that says, "Heaven is in the middle of the chest of a man who has faith." And there's something about faith, especially when you don't have an experience, you have faith that it's true. Or in terms of gratitude is a sense of being full, I am so full. I am so grateful. And in those moments, we are more able to give. And I think that's part of faith. There's a faith that even though I don't have much, I can share and give. Because in Christian traditions, as in others, it's very much about taking care of thy neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't have. And if we're holding on because we're afraid and we don't have gratitude for the piece of bread that we have, we're just coming from that fear of that place, we don't offer and give. It's that circle again.
Yeah.
So having that moment of gratitude really enables us to be giving, and not because we want to be acknowledged for giving, but because the energy is a circle and we're full. And from that place of wholeness and fullness, we give.
I think humanity, part of humanity's foundation has that as a cornerstone. When you look at all of the faiths and all of the beliefs, there's an element of charity and an element of helping one another. And of course, gratitude is everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single belief system that doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah. Well, and here's an interesting organization called Heart Math Institute, and they're wonderful. Check them out online, Heart Math Institute. And they have years worth of research on consciousness, on heart, on the energetic fields that's emitted from us as we move around and from our heart. We are an energetic field and we exchange. Like right now, we're commingling our fields. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
We're commingling on camera. And, and in the Heart Math Institute, they do a lot of research. And one of the things they talk about, in addition to a lot of other things, is gratitude and feeling love. And in that moment of gratitude and wholeness, we have what's called heart coherence. And that's where our mind and our soul and our heart, all the levels, are in harmony. So there's coherence. States of love and they measure this. So this is science, where they, in the studies, you're hooked up and they measure the frequencies emitted and what brings the system into balance and what brings it into discord. And gratitude is one of those things, along with love and all the positive feelings, that brings our system into coherence. And so part of that, looking at the traditions and religions, why would they focus on gratitude and love so much? I truly believe it's because the ancients, even prior to those who wrote this down, knew that everything comes down to that frequency in this field that we share. And in these states of being, we are emitting a very different frequency, a very different field. And that field is washing over you and me. And so the Heart Math Institute has a wonderful, wonderful amount of amazing research into love and into the heart's ability to heal and create change in the world as well as in our lives.
That's fabulous to hear. We should share that in the links.
Yeah, Heart Math Institute. Yeah, we will. We have a couple of things to share. And one of the things I wanted to quickly touch on before we're out of time is research will show, and being a therapist for so many years, research will show that significant relationships and marriage, let's talk about marriage now, are strengthened, and the bonds, the social and the emotional bonds are strengthened when two people express gratitude. And it's amazing to me how often we focus as humans, especially in relationships, on what's not happening, right? I bitch about something that's not happening, or in families, we moan and groan about each other and what they're not doing or not happening, and we don't focus on what is present and gratitude and letting people know how grateful we are that you're here with me, how grateful I am at what we just exchanged, or how grateful I am that you were you. And the impact of that in relationship is very significant, and especially in children. When children feel gratitude from their parents, their developmental growth is enhanced. Their psychological well-being is more secure and is more stable and more solid. So it's a reminder to make sure we tell our loved ones and our children how grateful we are just for them being here.
I think that's an awesome thing to end our podcast on. What a profound idea. I mean, it's basic, right? But it's something that we definitely are not universally able to do, myself included. But, you know,
It's good to
it's
remember
good to remember.
and remind each other
Hmm.
to be more grateful.
Yes, to be grateful.
Yeah.
And I think it also kind of touches on what the Zohar was talking about. Okay, you might have relationship that is rocky, that causes conflict on both sides, where you're butting heads. Maybe at the end of the day, you see it as a lesson. You see it as something that you know, when you're at the pearly gates and they say, well, I think you handled that pretty good. Come on in. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
That's how I've learned to deal. I probably have said this before, with the clothes you leave on the floor by the side of the bed that I have to walk through to do the shades, because I do the lights and the shades. And at first I'd go crazy. And like, Kevin, Kevin, Kevin. And then I had this moment where I realized the fact that these are on the floor means you're here. And I'd worked so hard to manifest you. And here I was bitching. And so I began to see the things on the floor in a different way. Now I'll pick them up or maybe kind of kick them out of the way. But it became a sign of something wonderful.
Yeah, and I told her before we moved in together, that's what I did.
Well, it's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing to trip over it when you're on the way
to
the light switch. I'm so grateful that you were here to leave your things on the floor.
I'm so grateful that you see it that way.
Here's a toast to the appreciation. And holidays are coming up, and we appreciate you and all of your support. And here's another way we can share with you the things we feel and teach. Kevin's music is through his CDs and my book. So I'd like to encourage you, we'll put the links. This is one of those books that people will say, was life-changing for them, in that it's really about, spirituality, how to live in a more conscious way, but relationships and tools for supporting our lives, living it in this awakened way and what that means. So I encourage you, life is the ceremony, how we live it is the ritual, the journey of a feminine shaman.
It's a great book.
The link will be in the description.
A lot of times we're in conversation and Wind will remind me, hey, that's in my book.
Well, I don't quite say it that way. I'll say, have you ever read my book?
Yeah.
Have you read my book? Like, hello.
And I read it. It's definitely a good book to read. It's full of, what we talk about.
Makes a great Christmas holiday present. Meaningful.
I just put these CDs. I had a pile of them that I used to sell at shows, and it's limited edition. Kevin Wood from the North Malfunkshun Monument. And so I throw those up on Bandcamp. So Bandcamp.
Great Christmas gift
Malfunkshun.
For music lovers.
Go to malfunkshun.org. It will redirect you right to the Bandcamp page.
And it's a great CD. I love this CD. I mean, there are songs, Goodbye Just in Case, Friendship Ring, Never Proud, My Love, He's a Mover, Love Child, Another You, Duty Bound, Man of Golden Words, Make Love to My Heart, and Monument. All
co-written by my brother Andy, who was an evolved soul. I mean, we're so lucky to have been able to share our short time with him. So yeah, check it out. You can download or you can stream it, whatever your preference.
Well, think of it as a Christmas gift. It not only shares the music and the messages in the music and the book and the messages in the book, which are very dear to us. And part of why we do what we do is we like to share that. And hopefully it's something you'd enjoy receiving, and to consider those in your Christmas list. Now's the time, right? Black Friday's past. We're on Fading Saturday, and I don't know when the deals end. So yeah, think about it. And here's to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Gratitude.
To gratitude and to you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.